Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm here with Luciënne, who's this amazing person. She's really full of wisdom, has so much life experience. I love working with her and talking with her almost every day because she has really so much to share, and I love all the advice that she gives. And she has an awesome story. So, Luciënne, first, I would love for you to just share your story with us and how you became a millionaire. And yeah, thank you for being here again. Thank you.
Thanks, Dorian, and thanks for inviting me to this topic because it's something I never ever talk about. It's literally the first time in my life I talk about this. To such an extent that not even my family or close friends know this story. Yeah. So it feels a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest. I think the whole money thing and the whole money theme is something that I don't know has a.
Help me get your lunch together, please.
Sorry, there's someone
Very
not
good. I
muted.
muted.
Okay. Okay, cool. Anyway, I think the whole money thing is something that's super sensitive in general. I mean, you either get praised for it or people look down on you. So that's something like I kind of like just don't share about. But anyway, how it all started is I grew up with a father who said like, never rent a house. As soon as you can buy something, buy it. So that kind of was like a natural imprint for me. The other thing he also said, like, never invest into insurances if you don't think you can kind of go and get the risk, manage the risk yourself. So these two elements really helped me in life, I think, from this perspective, from looking at investments and feeling into what's wise and what's not wise to do with money. So when I landed my first job, after 1.5 years, I think it was, I wanted to buy at that time with my boyfriend a house, and it was actually a big house and way too big for us and way too expensive for us. But we both felt like this is it, we really want to live here, and we had to do a complete renovation, but we both liked doing that. And the bank said, well, that's not possible with the income you have. So I went to my boss, and I was working with another great experience, amazing entrepreneur. We're actually two entrepreneurs. And I just laid out the plan. I said, this is the plan. This is the value of the house. We're going to do this with it. I kind of like made a business case to him. And I said, can you support us in any way? And he said, sure. I mean, it's a great business case. Let's do this. So he did. He signed up with us for the bank loan and the mortgage. And that's actually where in this company where I literally learned, like, if you come up with a good plan that feels so in alignment for yourself, people want to support you. And that's what I learned within this company in different roles I did there, and which is so different from the corporates I worked later on in life. So when you are with a small company with real entrepreneurship, then people will support you, and you have to step up yourself and really do something that you believe in. So anyway, long story short, that was my first house. Unfortunately, the relationship broke up. So I kind of like left with some money because we obviously created some wealth with it or some extra value with it. And this is actually how the ball started rolling. And what I learned until 2014, 15, with my husband at the time, we bought like way too big mansion. So every time it's like the thing I did was like I wanted to invest into something, and then I always ended up in investing into something which was twice the amount I actually planned to invest in. But because it felt so good, it felt so in alignment, and it felt so right at that time, like, no, of course I'm going to live here. I mean, I know it's way too big and it's way too much money, and it doesn't really make sense from a logical viewpoint, but it feels so right. It felt so fitting, and it's hard to explain. It's just pure alignment. What's just come through you, like, no, everything fits. And everyone in your environment will say, don't do it. It's too risky, or why should you do that? You don't need that, or whatever. Or this is not the right one for you. They're not the right house for you. But I always said, like, no, this is just what it is. It feels good right now, and I have no idea what comes out of it. And that's the second lesson I learned. When it is about money, if you invest in something that is in pure in alignment with yourself, drop any expectation what comes back to you. Because I honestly, what came back to me over the years just was like not just twice as much as I could even expect. It was like 4 times or 5 times as much, and sometimes even more than that. So that's kind of like the lesson, and which at the same time in the current business we both are in is my challenge, because now I'm more like being drawn back to what we get back. We might get into this later, but it's really, really difficult to drop expectations. But with this housing business, it kind of makes sense. And the other thing is, life doesn't stop when you invest into something. I mean, you don't sit back and think like, okay, well, I did a great investment and I'm just going to wait until it gets money, you know, it gains some money. You really just need to continue with your life. So I started my business for myself and stepped out of corporate life when I was 32, 33. And I started my interior design business because I saw that I had some talent there, and I wanted to work from home because I had my second child was on its way. I didn't want to do the 60 plus hours a week anymore. So I really wanted to stay home and start a business again. Not that it's less work, but anyway, you have more flexibility being at home. And I wanted to turn that hobby into something of another business. So, and that's how I started growing my entrepreneurship as well.
Nice.
So,
yeah, thank you for sharing.
yeah, so it's weird, and it's not, I never feel like I'm a millionaire. I mean, actually, because we started talking about it, it came up. So.
But how did it feel when, I don't know if you even noticed it or pay attention to the numbers, maybe you didn't, you know, how did it feel when you saw that number for the first time in your bank account? You know, like, were you in awe, were you amazed, or were you just nonchalant, or, you know, you didn't care? What was the feeling?
Well, no, I was proud in a sense, like, oh my God, I did achieve this, you know, in a way that, because my career was not so, I did have my own business, but I dropped out of the corporate ones. And, you know, you kind of like can often come into this gray zone in the normal about how people look at you. You know, if you don't go to the career ladder, so you kind of like have not, I mean, if I would have followed that one, I probably would have become, I don't know, manager XYZ somewhere, because it was promising. Sorry?
That's boring.
I know, but it kind of like, it's a lot easier to talk about on parties and things like that, you know, in social structures. I do remember that when this money landed, the first time, it happened second time, it happened twice actually, because I bought a new house again, so invested again, and did a trick another time, only in a couple of years. I did mention it to my current partner, like, okay, I just want to bring this up, you know, I don't want this to be an issue between us, but this is actually my status. And he was just laughing at me, like, why do you think that will be an issue? I said, well, I don't want to be judged for it or anyway. Neither do I want to be looked up at, against, or whatever. I mean, it just is. And for me, so I was proud in that sense, but for me, by far the most important thing was the freedom it gives me.
Yes.
That's actually like, I can't tell you how liberating it is not to worry about this aspect.
I can relate. Yes. Yes.
So it literally is like that. So yeah. So how was it for you? Because I know you've been into the rat race and working many hours and.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can feel what you just shared about the freedom that it can give you. You know, I was making, as a lot of people know, I was making before doing this business. I was in the rat race, and I was making around $20,000 a month, and you know, it was crazy. I was in awe. I felt so blessed. I manifested this in my life, because probably 6 months prior to that, I thought it would not have been possible. You know, I would have kept myself. You know, I started when you know, I knew I was gonna have a kid. I started with deciding that I was gonna make $10,000 a month. I was like, I'm not gonna make, you know, $2,000-3,000 a month like I used to as a manager, actually working my ass off. I'm like, no, let's make more money. And I achieved that $10,000-12,000 a month actually. And then as I was changing job, I was like, why not go higher? Let's stretch the goal. And I did it. My highest month was $23,000 a month, but every month I was making around 20,000. It was amazing. And
That's a lot.
I know it's a lot. And the freedom, like you said, is amazing. I mean, you don't have to think about anything you buy, whether in the store or you go. It's just there's so much a surplus of money. And also, I lived humbly, right? I didn't like rent something in LA for like 15K a month. I mean, I still lived humbly. I had a nice apartment on the beach. I was paying definitely a lot more for that in a really nice area, nice car and everything, but still in a very humble, conscious way. So I had plenty of money just in my savings. But again, I was trading my time, my health, my family time for this money, and I was so stressed, and I knew at a core level, I felt so much energy being sucked out of me. I knew it was not worth it. Even though the money was amazing, and I do love money, it was not worth it. My spiritual path and my journey is so much more important than any kind of money. So I knew something had to change. And here I am then 2 years later, living quite an awesome life, a lot more relaxed and infinite amount of freedom, which is so much better for my soul. I get to do a lot more inner work like I want to, which to me is super important. Yeah.
Super. Yeah, that really is nice.
So let me ask you. Oh no, you go ahead. Ladies
no,
first.
no, go ahead. I was just thinking about the the money thing and the inner work is still so closely related, because I also did over the years, because you have the money, you kind of like are seduced to doing investments. I mean, I obviously went also into Bitcoin. I thought like, oh yeah, let's do that. But every time I did something what like felt off for me, because I either was not invested in the subject, or I didn't know enough about it, or I felt something off, like I invested in a very expensive course. And I remember that call that this person said like, yeah, let's sign now. They kind of like sign you up on the call. And I felt like this no inside me, and I said yes. And I never did anything literally with this course.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like 8K or something. So it was quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the same thing happened with Bitcoin. I trusted someone and I knew it felt like a little bit off, and I lost 30K. So it's not, I know now for 100% sure that this inner alignment thing, this inner voice you have, is literally the only thing that will bring in the abundance. But the thing is, it doesn't bring always the abundance immediately. So what I said earlier about the expectation, in the current paradigm, or in the current way of thinking, we think like we invest into something, and then we get like, something back in return, like 20% more, 40% more, 100% more, or clients or whatever. We expect the immediate return.
Yes.
And I think this whole timing thing, at least in my experience, is something that I dropped naturally within the housing business. That just came very natural. But it also was a true fact, because it came so natural. I just kept spending money like without earning anything in the last couple of 4 years in a classical way, like earning money per hour or whatever, or selling something and get money for it. I did get the amount back way more than I spent it. So it is like universe literally like gives you back how you live life. Mm-hmm. So if you live it like abundantly, universe pays you back, and it's super hard to trust that. And I'm now in this new phase, and I still find it hard to trust it. I know it's true, and it has been true for like 30 years now, so it is true. And every time I was like down to zero. It's not like there was always like something in my bank account. I really always dropped down to zero again. And then I thought like, okay, let's move again. Let's move forward. Let's feel into this alignment thing. What do I need to do next? So it's subtle, but such an important lesson to listen to this inner voice and then trust. Let it go, and trust it will come back. And that's why I also said yes to our freedom strategy and the affiliation business we are in. It was just, as you know, it was like an immediate yes. Like there was no doubt, there was no And of course, it helps that I have the luxury to also like pay immediately. And it doesn't really, give me any stress at all. And at the same time, it gives me a lot of stress in the fact that now I need to prove to myself that I can run this business, which is for me another stress level, which might not be stressful for someone else, but it is for me, because now I've stepped into a business kind of like where it shows me whether my alignment is true or not, and whether I can live up to this inner yes, with full trusting that it will be returned in a way that is in alignment for me. But now I'm suddenly invited by this strategy and the people who are in this business, like, now you have to do this, and you have to do this, and you have to do this. And I'm following it because I know, well, you have the experience, so I'm doing it. And at the same time, often it feels like, I'm stepping out of my alignment. I have to go back in to what's right for me. And I'm still searching this alignment yet for myself, because I know it works for me. So, and I think it's a big lesson in general for people. Just keep following that. I mean, anyone can make money. Anyone can make money tomorrow in a just traditional classical way, but that's not the way I am apparently doing it in my life since I'm 30,
No, yeah,
before
I agree. I think what human miss, especially when you're an entrepreneur, is patience, and especially when you start your own business, whatever it is patience and building a strong foundation, and keep being consistent and motivated, and then the reward will come, but it's just nowadays we want everything instantly, of course. So but the one that make the most money is by risking, I feel, and definitely trusting their intuition and their inner voice, but by being consistent and patience, then patience will have a huge reward as you keep showing up, basically. Now,
and the other thing, actually, just to add to that, it's not just it's courage, and it's you have to risk something, but at the same time it's also keep moving. You have to be consistent with what you're doing, but you also have to keep moving. You have to be willing to let go of something that doesn't work anymore. Because I know a lot of people for the housing business now, their house has like exploded in worth. But if you don't move out of the house, it's nothing. It's just numbers on papers. It's still nothing. So you need to be willing to let go of things that don't fit anymore, or that are just done. And then it has to do with commitment, and at the same time it's also like loving to change. Really love it, embrace change.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, well, thank you for sharing. Basically, that leads me to the next question. What made you join the business opportunity that I share? You joined about 3 months ago. I would like to know, like you said, right now was a hell yes. What made you join? And
well, I heard in the masterclass you share with me, I heard like 3 things that stick with me. First of all was like the freedom was like an echo, which was like so loud, like, okay, freedom, freedom, freedom. That's my word. So that must be true. And then I heard water. And for 6 years, I had this theme of water around me. And so I actually translated that into the fact that I want to live near the water, which is still a desire for me, but I was completely focused on that aspect. And then I moved to Amsterdam. So I sold the house and I moved to Amsterdam, and I want to live there next to the water. And I managed to do that, not exactly near, but I can see the water from my window. But I could not drink the water there because the water in Holland is quite good. And we're known for it to be good. And where I lived before, it is excellent. At least the taste is. I don't know the exact quality, but the taste is. But in Amsterdam, it was not good at all. And I was like, oh, and I'm a water drinker. I drink that's the only thing actually I drink besides coffee and some wine. So I thought, like, okay, I need something to solve this. And then in this masterclass, the water subject came up, and that clicked. And then at the same time, the mission of this company. And it was like this 500-year mission to create toxic-free households, to have clear, healthy, hydrogen-rich water that really energizes you and offer such an amazing compensation plan that kind of like gives the freedom to people to do more than just this business.
Mm-hmm.
And that mission was just, I mean, I literally was in tears when I heard it. I was like, holy, this is so beautiful. And before I went into like, what's next question, I was like, well, I don't want to invest in land or in water or something with energy. I mean, these are the three things I think this planet and humanity need. Mm-hmm. And my passion is consciousness and leadership and inner awareness. But like the other thing we need is one of these three things. So when water landed and the mission was there and the freedom, and then I saw the business model, and that was the third thing that landed. And I suddenly thought, like, having been in the online space for 5 years, really struggling with it, not knowing what my role was, not being consistent, and I definitely dropped that one. So I tried many different things, but was never long enough consistent with it. And I was in the high ticket and low ticket and zero ticket online course business. I tried everything there. And nothing worked for me because it didn't feel right for me to ask so much money for something that is so natural to a human being, to become more aware of yourself.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to ask like 10K or 5K or whatever number you can put on it, because it was like, they say like you just put whatever number on it and then make your course and sell it. I could not do that. And I definitely couldn't do it. So I tried to do it for free. I tried to do it for little money. And somehow, I don't know, I didn't like the designing course business. That was not the thing, but I also didn't like the whole business model around it. So then I thought like, oh, wow, if you have like this different layer of income, and you can then look at all the qualities you have and all the passions you have, because I wanted to go back into interior design business because I love doing that. And I wanted to continue with my leadership and empowerment and leadership coaching, mentorship business, but not in a classical way. Just want to do more like in a collaboration way with intervision and work together, learn together and explore together. So more like an equal way. And I also wanted to write another book. I wrote one book and I published it, and I want to do that again, but that takes about a year to do that. At least it took me a year. And if you have to think of everything I just mentioned of a business model, it literally means like 3 different businesses almost. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And now I suddenly thought like, oh wow, I can have just this one financial business idea, and I can still make money with the other things, but it doesn't have the pressure in like the classical way of looking at the business model. You give something and you get money in return. I can drop that, and I can invite other people to drop that as well, and just literally lift ourselves and become or unleash all our potential and share that with each other in a way we love to share with it. It's different for everyone. And at the same time, have this income stream, because we still are in an economic system that requires money. Whether we like it or not, we're still there. And at least I love to be in this economic system. I don't like to live off grid. I really want to be part of the whole society. Mm-hmm. And that requires money. So those 3 clicked in very quickly. And I thought like, everyone is going to see this way. This is easy. This is like a no-brainer for me. It's a small investment compared to other things I invested in as an entrepreneur. I mean, it's just a one-time investment, more or less. I mean, a little money every year for maintenance, but you invest it in yourself. Mm-hmm. I don't ask other people to pay me. I just pay myself one time, and then everybody does that, and then we just pay each other. I mean, that's the great thing about this one. So, yeah, that was kind of like why I suggest immediately. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. Yeah, no, thank you for being here. And I remember, when you joined, it was a pretty hell yes quick decision, like I think within 24 hours. That's pretty beautiful. You saw the picture, you saw the golden ticket that we had here and that we have here. And what is this going on here? Yeah, it's
10 minutes left.
And so I mean, you knew it from your heart space directly. This was a yes. You know what I mean? I know some people might be more skeptic and take longer to decide, but it's okay. What I tell people, courage takes you over the fear, basically. Because it's normal to be skeptic and to think, this could be true, or to be scared, because it's really going to take you out of your comfort zone, and it's really going to challenge the ego for sure. So courage and bravery is what really takes you full on through the door, basically, into this new life. So you kind of answered my next question, but maybe if you want to share a little more, you've been here for about 3 months, so you had quite a bit of taste of this space that we have. So what do you like now, about this space, and what do you enjoy about this conscious strategy that we have, that I share with others, I share with you, that now you share with others,
I think the best is first of all the community. I mean, I've never been part of a group which is so high vibing, co-creative, open to help each other. I mean, I really, really feel supported. And the online business can be a very lonely business.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that we met, and other people in our team. And you can call out to anyone, reach out to anyone. Everybody's ready for you to support.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I thought I'd done 10 years of deep inner work and kind of like got there. Holy shit. I've learned so much in the past 3 months. That's still like, all these little old patterns, blocks that were still not healed. Everything came right in my face, very, very bluntly and harshly, actually, as well. And I just went very humble, and it's like, okay, like this, apparently we are, as I think it's a humanity thing, like everything you pick up now, whatever it is, whether it's in our space or anything you pick up to level yourself up to the next level, challenge yourself. I think humanity in general is just going to face the things that really should be left behind now more than ever. I think it's different like the last 10 years. It now goes in an accelerated way. And this space provides very clear insights on how manifestation really works, self-concept, the whole story around money. I mean, although I do have it, it's still a thing for me. I still work on this today, every day. It's just not, scarcity patterns are related to money, but scarcity patterns also show up in other areas of your life, in your relationship, and in anything in your life. And it's a big one. It's a big, big one. And then there's codependency, which is another big theme, I think, for humanity, which shows up like, can I get the confirmation from my online world? Will they approve my post? Will they confirm me? That's just, it's a codependency thing. It's just emotional codependency. Like I need to be confirmed by the outside world.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot. And I think that the platform, the community, and the potential, I think it's a great mix.
Love it. So we have about 6 minutes left. One big question. So I would love for you to share at least one entrepreneurial advice for someone that wants to be successful. If it's like one or 2 or 3 things you want to share that can really help people be successful by being an entrepreneur, what would that be? That helped you throughout your life.
Don't listen to others and don't expect others to confirm you, and especially not in your close environment.
Love it.
How much you love your family, how much you love your partner, how much you love anyone around you. If something is alignment for you, trust it and don't listen to others, and don't expect them to cheer you up or to cheer you on, or to confirm you. Especially not, the more it was alignment for me, the less I was cheered on. Weirdly enough. So it's almost like you don't get the applause from your close environment. It's not they're not proud of me, but you don't get it in a way that kind of like feels natural, more like it's different when you work in a company, because you kind of like work together for something else and someone else, often if you're not the entrepreneur yourself. And there you kind of like have this natural thing that you cheer each other on. And then you have because society knows the label and the functions and the roles, so they kind of like cheer that on. Oh, you've become a manager? Great. Well done. If you're in the entrepreneurial space and you do something, especially in the online business, it's so new still, although we're doing it for like 15 years now. It's still so new. People find it uncomfortable and they kind of like feel like they have to give an opinion about it, even though they're not experienced with it, or they have a bad experience and share that opinion. But it's not like, wow, great, you're an online entrepreneur. That's awesome. You made it there, like, and it's really weird. So don't expect anything from anyone else and don't listen to others. I think that's the best thing. And follow your heart. I mean, follow your alignment, that's the other thing, that if you feel any clear yes within our space, follow that alignment and just, and things will come from that.
Exactly. Actually, it's funny. I just heard that today too, that your close environment will most likely not really agree with what you're doing and to not listen to what they say, especially if it's a hell yes, just go for it. It's funny. I literally just heard that today. And it's so true. People told me, even though, I knew the product very well in the water, I grew up on it. My dad told me, hey, like, don't start this, it's really hard and all these things. And I told him that nowadays it's completely different than when he tried it like 10, 15 years ago. He barely even tried it, really. I said that now everything is online and we have the whole world that's accessible. And and here I am, that's even, my brothers, my sister, they're like, what are you doing? Especially quitting a $20,000 job a month. They're like, you're out of your mind, man. But my whole life, I've always done this, I just trusted my heart and when the path that's less walked, and I'm enjoying life. To me, that's what's the most important, and to really live life to the fullest, because we never know how long we have on this earth, and time flies by quite quickly. So there's really no point to waste time and to wait for something, because it's all here now. We make it happen. So
yeah, definitely. And another thing for the entrepreneurial lesson is, I mean, invest in yourself.
yes.
Even with this water product, I mean, I purely invested in myself. Even if I never ever have anyone who's joining my team or is joining me, I still have invested purely in myself, and I'm so happy with this. I travel with this machine. I'm literally a water snob, as we call ourselves now, and I honestly am, because I don't want to drink anything else. I don't buy water in any restaurant anywhere else. I only drink this. Yes. And it's but any investment, even if you want to step into crypto or whatever, if you feel like it's an investment in yourself, it will work out well. Like I did with the housing, it was an investment in myself to live beautifully and live amazingly and live wildly or whatever. But it was the housing that I did purely for myself, not for the profit, not for the money itself.
Mm-hmm. I love it. No, thank you for sharing. I mean, yeah, thank you for, taking the time to be here and sharing this.
Thank you.
With all of us. And, definitely look forward to growing this business a lot more. That's the cool thing about this business. It's a win-win for everyone. We're all in this together. I like to say together we rise, and that's really what's happening. And to get more knowledge and little nuggets, I know we'll have another interview in the future to see where you're at and, what has evolved. Thank you, Jess, for also being here and holding the space with us. I think a lot of people will see this replay, so we'll see if anyone has any questions later on. But do you have anything else you want to share, or that's it? We're good?
No, I really love this interview style. Talk about this business in a different way, from a different perspective. And today was more my story. Perhaps we can turn it around next time. It will be more your story.
Let's do it. That's fine.
Yeah, let's do this. Great. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Okay.